Well, Father alluded to it earlier. Today is a solemnity, and it is not just a Sunday solemnity. It is the solemnity of the Saints Peter and Paul. This almost never happens. There are very few things that the church considers so important as to bump our regular Sunday worship. Saints Peter and Paul. Why is this so important? Because these are literally the two men that the foundation of our church is built upon. Jesus, of course, however, Jesus assigns Peter to be the rock, the foundation, the beginning. He gives him the keys. Keys are pretty important. My son can't wait to get the keys. Why is this so important to me today? And why is it so important to our church? Leadership. We need to have good leaders. The people need to be guided. We need somebody to help us along the way. Yes, Jesus gave us the roadmap, right? But he put Peter in place to flesh out that map, to fill out the church, to build his church. And he gave him Paul, to go right along with him. We don't have a lot of great examples of leadership in our society these days. Sadly, we don't get a lot of it from government, in my personal opinion. I'm not going to go down a government rabbit hole, I promise. But all we have to do as a church to see phenomenal leadership is look right here at these two readings. And it's, I think, awesome that we get them at this time, right after we've been given our newest leader of our church. We'll get back to why I think that's so important in just a minute, but just talking about these two. In those days, King Herod was the leader, right? He was the leader of the peoples. What did he pursue as good leadership? Let's see. Let's grab these people that are trying to take away my leadership here, and we're going to kill off James. Let's see how that works out. Ooh, the people like that. Great. Let me grab some other people, and we're going to start killing off those guys too. Wow, that's great leadership. No, actually, the people weren't big fans of it as a whole. Sure, it appeals to people. It appeals to the base nature that we have within us, right? It appeals actually to the brokenness that we have. But people actually desire in their hearts good leadership. Peter thus was being kept in prison, but prayer by the church was fervently being made to God on his behalf. That doesn't sound to me like the people wanted to see Peter killed. Peter was doing good things in their midst. They saw him as a good man. And yes, the rest of the story is one of the best known. He was between two guards, and the angels came and said to him, "Yes, we win." It's a great story, but this story is really about the leadership, right? You move into the next story in the Acts of the Apostles. We don't even get an Old Testament reading today. That's how important these two guys are. We get one about Peter, we get one about Paul. And you move into the story about Paul from Timothy. Don't anybody talk to Deacon Tim about this? He always brags about Timothy. Sorry. I, Paul, am being poured out like a libation. Paul does have a little bit of a tendency to say, "Oh, woe is me, but look at how great I've done." But in this instance, especially in this instance, he's absolutely on point. From now on, the crown of righteousness awaits me, which the Lord, the just judge, will award to me. The Lord stood by me and gave me strength, so that through me the proclamation might be completed. going back to Peter. Put on your belt, put on your cloak, follow me. Oops, sorry, I missed my part. But Peter said to him, well, I can't find it at the moment, but, well, I'm losing it. Basically, he said, at this moment, now I know that the angel was sent here to save me. It's almost like he says, okay, I know I'm doing the right thing. God is blessing this moment. I'm going to go forward. And the readings that we're going to get following in the next couple of weeks and probably daily mass and such are much more beautiful on what Peter turns to do. And that is why Peter is the rock that Jesus built his church on. An earnest prayer was made to God by the church. And the church tells us that God's citizens, the angel of the Lord will rescue those who fear him, right? That's what we had in the psalm today. Recognition that the glory really is God's. It's not their own. They're not, either one of them, doing it for their own glory. They're doing it for the love of Jesus and for the love of their church, which means that the people are feeling that love. Yes, sometimes good leaders need to say things to people to give them a little kick in the butt, right? Paul was especially good at that. Go read the book of Romans. He's really good at kicking people in the butt. But at the same time, people respond to it because they know that he's trying to give them to Jesus. God gave the keys to Peter. There's a lot of talk, if you actually look into the references here, about the fact that that's what kings would do, right? They would hand over the keys to their magistrate. And Peter led the people in faith and love of God. He was given power. In the final gospel reading, we are told, Jesus said to him in reply, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my heavenly Father. And so I say to you, Peter, upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven." This is oftentimes where we talk about getting confession. What you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. But what you loose will be loosed in heaven. That's a lot of power. And he didn't abuse it because he was given the grace by God. My heavenly Father revealed it to you. Well, these are great men, so how are we supposed to be like that? I got to say that I don't oftentimes feel like the Heavenly Father is coming down and giving me a lot of overt graces. There's a lot of struggles that I have, and I'm like, all right, I'm really just trying to get my children to behave and do the right thing and act appropriately. Come on! And it gets frustrating. Or you could be in business and you're really just trying to get your employees to do the right thing. And it's hard. Leadership is not uber easy. But it's important. So how are good leaders helped the most? By prayer. The people prayed for Peter when he was imprisoned by Herod. Peter needed that prayer. Was Peter perfect? No, sure wasn't. He left Jesus to go get crucified on the cross, cowered in the corner, hid, ran away. But he recognized it. He repented of it. And he moved forward. And here we have another example of where Peter needs to be prayed for. Was Paul perfect? I don't think so. I know that I've personally never stood around and watched anybody get stoned, authorized someone to be killed. Yet, Paul tells us today, I have run a good race. He did what he was asked to do. God got his attention, and he went, oops, sorry, let me spend the rest of my life doing what I can to turn this around and bring the glory upon you. And that's the foundation of our church. These two men who were broken in their own separate ways, assigned by God, prayed for by the people, built our church. And this next phrase is one of my favorites in all of the Gospels. Upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. The gates of the netherworld shall not prevail against it. He didn't say the gates of heaven wouldn't fall. It's not what we're talking about. Nobody's breaking down God's door. It's not happening. That said, the gates of the netherworld, well, that's Satan's domain, right? Well, if the gates of the netherworld aren't going to prevail, that means those gates are being attacked and broken down, right? By who? That'd be us, folks. That's all of us. We have a wonderful, hopefully, wonderful, he's only new, but I'm going to have faith that he's going to be a wonderful pope. He is here to guide us, just as Peter and Paul guided the early church. But it's up to us to pray fervently for him, to help him make that statement absolutely true. It's up to us to pray for each other in this community that we can break down the gates, because we can do it. Pray for the leaders. Pray for Father. Pray for both of our fathers. Pray for all of us deacons. Pray for your parents. Pray for your brothers and sisters that are in places of leadership. Be in the world as leaders. Run a good race. That's all God asks of us. Run the best race that you can run. And when you're feeling overwhelmed by the little things, government inadequacies, challenges of finances, or whatever else, say a prayer, and the greatest leader of all time will comfort you.